So this is the lateral part of the leg. So you have, and then it becomes superficial at the lower part of the lower lateral part of the leg, and this is superficial peroneal. So it supplies, it gives off motor branches to the lateral compartment of the leg, which muscles does it supply? Peroneus longus and peroneus brevis. After it supplies, it becomes superficial. It basically moves or courses upwards towards the skin, and it becomes superficial and becomes cutaneous, and therefore it gives off medial intermediate branches. Medial intermediate branches, and supplies the dorsum of the foot primarily. Okay, the dorsum of the foot basically is supplied by the superficial peroneal nerve. So if we look at the cutaneous innervation of the foot, let's look at that. So the dorsal part, primarily lateral dorsal part of the foot, superficial peroneal. The medial part here, the most medial, is supplied by saphenous nerve. And then we have the most lateral part is supplied by so sural. And if you can see this nerve, you see this is sural, and this sural is coming off from, you see, from the posterior compartment. So this is what it's coming from. Where is it coming from? So what's the branch of sural? Where does it come from?
Medial sural and lateral sural.
Right. It's basically, there's a contribution from the common peroneal and the tibial. Okay, and basically forms the sural. Right. Okay, sural receives the posterior part of the lower posterior part of the leg, and here becomes superficial, and it supplies the lateral part of the foot. So sural, this part here is saphenous. The dorsal part here is superficial peroneal. The only part that we have left is the cleft between the cleft between
big toe and the
the cleft between the big toe and the second toe. Okay, the first and the great toe and the second toe, which is this area here, this cleft here. So basically, it's like the sides that are looking to each other. Okay, this area, the skin is supplied by this nerve here, and that is deep peroneal nerve. Okay, so this is basically the superficial branch or cutaneous branch of the deep peroneal. You see, this is the deep peroneal. So after it supplies the anterior compartment, it basically courses upwards towards the skin at this particular area. See, it divides into two branches. One goes on this side, lateral surface of the big toe, and one goes the medial surface of the second toe. So, and then supplies this area, the skin. It supplies the skin of this area. Okay, so those are the superficial branches, the cutaneous innervation of the dorsal part of the foot. And then we have cutaneous innervation in the plantar surface of the foot. So we have, okay, so we'll look at that later on. So basically the sole of the foot, or the plantar, is basically supplied the medial and lateral plantar. Okay. So the medial plantar supplies the medial 1/3 of the sole and 1.5. And then here we have the lateral plantar supplies the 2/3 of the sole and 3.5 fingers. So it's like, this is lateral plantar, here is the medial plantar nerve. Okay. And here is the calcaneal branch. Just remember that medial plantar, lateral plantar, and calcaneal, these are all branches off from? They're all branches of tibial nerve. Okay, tibial nerve, not posterior, just tibial nerve. Okay. Okay, so that's the structure that passes beneath the extensor retinaculum. Let's look at the structure that passes beneath the flexor retinaculum. So we have the flexor retinaculum here. And this muscle, I'm getting this muscle out, this muscle, or this tendon. So what is this? Okay, what is this?
calcaneal tendon.
Right, this is the calcaneal tendon or Achilles tendon. And this Achilles tendon is formed by the union of which tendons? Is? Right, gastrocnemius. So this is the gastrocnemius. Beneath gastrocnemius is soleus. And there's a muscle in between these two is? Plantaris muscle, right. So we have the plantaris muscle in between. Okay, let's look at if there's any. Okay, see this tendon here? So this tendon is beneath gastrocnemius or above the soleus. And this nerve, this tendon is also called what? Freshman's nerve. Why?
Is that?
Look like because the first year got confused between the tendon and the nerve.
And the nerve, correct? Is he correct? Yeah. So it looks like a nerve, you see? Why? Because all the extension of this muscle, the tendon, it's composed of tendon, and only the muscle belly is very short, okay? And so the rest of the muscle, of this muscle, is basically composed of tendon, and it looks like a nerve. That's why they get confused. And although this is a tendon, it looks like a nerve. Okay. So this is plantar. So we have these three muscles, tendon, they come together, and they form the Achilles tendon, and they attach to the calcaneus. Okay, so those are the three muscles. So these are what? These muscles are located where? In the superficial posterior compartment. If we get these out of the way, and then we have the deep compartment of the posterior. So we have the deep posterior compartment, and deep posterior compartment. So which muscles do we have? So most medially here we have tibialis posterior, and then we have
lateral tibia,
flexor digitorum longus, and then we have flexor hallucis longus. Okay, so we have so over here. So we have the tibialis. So on the medial side, right? We have the tibialis posterior. Okay, and then we have it's over here. I think. Yeah, tibialis posterior. Then we have flexor digitorum longus. Then we have flexor hallucis longus. Most lateral is flexor hallucis longus. All right. So these three muscles are located, and then we have the popliteus muscle. So all these are located in the deep compartment of the posterior area. So you see these tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus. This is flexor hallucis longus, and this yellow. What is this yellow structure? Right, that's a tibial nerve. Along with it, we have the red structure, posterior tibial artery. So don't get confused. Okay, it's a tibial nerve artery, it's posterior tibial artery. You see? It's the posterior tibial artery. You see here. So posterior tibial artery is a branch off from. Posterior tibial artery is a branch off from.
femur. Femur?
No, posterior tibial artery. Where does it come from?
Peroneal artery.
No.
Popliteal artery.
Popliteal artery, right. So popliteal artery, it divides into two. You have the anterior tibial and posterior tibial, right? So this is the posterior tibial. And posterior tibial gives off an important branch, and that branch is peroneal artery. So anterior tibial, posterior tibial gives off peroneal. Peroneal goes to the lateral compartment. Posterior tibial goes to the posterior compartment. Anterior tibial goes to the anterior compartment, okay? All right. So let's go back to our original. So we have the flexor retinaculum. And by the way, this is, so we have the tibial nerve. And basically the tibial nerve supplies all the posterior compartment muscles. All right. And on the medial compartment, like I said,